some impending something? I do too. I do too. Heck, I escaped the earthquakes of St. Louis and came back to LA thinking I'd escape. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Jordan, you know, gasoline prices are out of control. We're talking about food shortages that could affect us truly here in the United States as well. And yet, the Illuminati, those people who I think are above government, don't seem to care because they're okay. When will the population really be, I'm not talking about this audience, but when will the population say, we've had enough?
Ludwig von Mises, in one of his, the European economist, in one of his books, in the forewords, made a very interesting statement concerning that. He said that people have always, are now, and always will support a dictator until the cost of supporting the dictator becomes more than his support cost. And so I believe that the people will always, as he said, always support a dictator. People love to bow down and fall before authority and before movie stars and before powerful men. Everyone wants to see Donald Trump. And so people love to crawl on their knees and honor and venerate their fellow humans who are supposed to be gods among men. And so I think that it's going to take a crash of realization when people finally, as Whitley brought out, finally see the system is not only not working, it's broke, but now comes the conclusion. Now what are you going to do? You've been living high, you've been doing what you've been doing and couldn't care less to research and study anything, like the founding fathers said that freedom was based on knowing and studying what lie is, knowing and studying what truth is, and standing up for what is right. Well, virtually the masses of this country couldn't care less about what truth is, as long as the basketball and football and their stomachs are filled. But there's going to come a time soon when the party is going to be over, and when the people find out. There was a movie many years ago, what was it, The Bridge on the River Kwai, where Alec Guinness,
I can whistle that.
that was a tremendous movie. That'll be enough of you. True. You did see it. So in the movie, at the very last part of that movie, Alec Guinness is so proud of the bridge that he's built for the Japanese, and then he spots, and you can hear the train coming, and he spots a wire, remember?
Right.
And he's pulling the wire inquisitively, what is this wire all about? Until he sees it goes out to the bridge. And finally it dawns on him that this is his own guys doing what they're supposed to do. Don't help the enemy.
Right.
And it finally hits him what he's done. And he looks into the camera and he says, my God, what have I done? It finally hit him. What have I done? That is exactly what's going to happen to America and to people in the world. Very soon they're going to wake up and see, what have we done? We have worshiped idols, we have worshiped important people with their money, and now look at the whole world is collapsing. My God, what have
And
we
it's
done?
unfolding, it's right here, it's right before our eyes.
But there will come a time when it's going to sink into people's minds, there is no way out. And at that point, if you are not truly spiritually tied into that divine presence in the universe that men have called God, it's going to be very serious going for the human race. And I'm afraid because I see it coming. And I know that when you get millions of people waking up all of a sudden and realizing the situation is this critical and this bad, politics has nothing to do with it, religion has nothing to do with it. Now you're talking about food, your children, your home. It's going to be an extraordinary awakening of the human race to find out what have we done as the human race. We have put aside truth and justice and honor and decency, and we have poured our money and our attention into government and put, like the scripture says, put not your trust in earthly man in whom there is no salvation. but we have trusted politicians and trusted our religious leaders. Come to find out, they're all connected to the same fraternal secret societies behind those scenes, and no one seemed to realize or care. But soon is going to awaken the whole world and find out, what have we done? What have we allowed to happen in our name?
Now you know why Jordan looks over his shoulder all the time. Sure, very well. And of course, Dr. Roger Lier. See, Roger's sitting here going, if everybody had an alien implant at $100 a piece, I'd really be rich. He's looking at all of you going, he's adding you all up.
But remember, I'm looking at you first.
Part of the headline in tonight's program is UFOs, magic, and mysticism in Hollywood. And Roger, you've worked in the industry, you've investigated UFOs, and you handle these incredible alien implants. And you still do this. So something must still be happening out there. What is it?
Well, I agree with what my other colleagues have had to say 100%. And these things have been foretold, I believe, in many different ways. Certainly, as Jordan will attest, the UFO phenomena is not a modern phenomena. It's an ancient phenomena that's been going on for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And most probably prior to the existence of what we are, Homo sapien. But to bring it into modern times, yes, there is something that's going to happen. There is something that's going on. But when we look at the abduction phenomena and all things that are related to it, we can get a very, very interesting picture. Now, I don't know, there's probably a few people here that still remember World War II and the films of that era that came from Hollywood. So what does Hollywood know that we don't know? What does Steven Spielberg know that we don't know? These are people who have shown you things on the screen, but when we go to the movie, we become entertained. We just don't get it. But it's there, it's presented. It's presented to you in many different forms. So if you were to shut your eyes, not see any movies, do not watch television, don't look at the newspapers, don't listen to the radio, except for Coast to Coast, of course.
Thank you.
And, you know, go into your deep feelings. I mean, you can get a real education, because I bet there's nobody in this room that would say, gee, I don't know what these guys are talking about. There's nothing going to happen. It's happening, and it's going to quicken. So how does this relate to abduction and implants? Well, we find that maybe 15% of the abductee population may have an object in their bodies. And this is purposeful. This is for a reason. And if you couple that with the fact that people are changing, I think there is hope. Well, who knows? Whitley, I'm sure, doesn't know. I don't know. Probably nobody here doesn't. We don't have the answers. And if anybody comes before you and says they have the answers, you better put a finger in each ear and run as fast as you can.
Jay Weidner, Reality Check, and we're starting a membership plan for content that we don't normally want to put up on some of these platforms, and I want you to join. We're not going to stop doing the regular shows. We're just adding content. Be a lot more one-on-one stuff with me, and I think you guys will find it really interesting. So we'll put it up here below, how you can get into the membership plan, and please join. I'm Jay Weidner, and thanks for watching.